Hi, my name is Tariq Nizami, Senior Analyst at the Judicial Council of California. Thank you for taking the interest and time to watch this webinar on Proposition 63, the Mental Health Services Act, also referred to as the MHSA. This presentation provides an overview of the MHSA and how local courts can access funding. The Act was passed by voters in 2004 as Proposition 63. It is funded through a 1% tax on personal income over $1 million. It provides funding to expand community mental health services. The dollars are divided between counties to address local community mental health needs with a focus on prevention, treatment, and innovation. Before we delve into the MHSA, let's take a brief look at the legislative history and timeline leading up to the creation of the Act. In 1965, Congress passes Medicare and Medicaid. In 1967, California passes a law limiting involuntary detention. During the 1960s and 70s, many state mental hospitals begin to close, while the number of people with mental illnesses both in jails and in prison increase. California passes mental health realignment in 1991, where many responsibilities to coordinate mental health services shift from the state to the counties. California voters ultimately passed Proposition 63 in 2004. Eligibility. Who can apply for MHSA funds? For all MHSA funding, a local court, in collaboration with any stakeholder, can access funding through their county's local community planning process. It is important to note the value of building strong relationships between court leaders and behavioral health department directors to leverage important MHSA funding. The Judicial Council's Behavioral Health, Education, and Resources webpage provides helpful information on building strong partnerships with stakeholders and on other current mental health issues. The webpage includes webinars on subjects including partnering with county behavioral health to serve justice-involved populations, serious mental health disorders, and AB 1810 implementation. The MHSA's 5 funding categories, also referred to as components, are listed below and represent the different areas for project funding. 1. Community services and supports. 2. Prevention and early intervention. 3. Innovation. 4. Capital facilities and technological needs. 5. Workforce education and training. This slide illustrates the statewide allocation of MHSA funds. As you can see, the lion's share of funding is earmarked for community services and supports, which accounts for approximately 80%. Prevention and early intervention represents approximately 20%, and innovation receives roughly 5% of combined CSS and PEI funding, as illustrated vertically in the graphic. CSS is the largest funding category of the MHSA. It provides services for individuals with severe mental illnesses. Community services and supports include the following: mental health treatment, case management and linkage to essential services, housing and vocational support, as well as self-help. PEI funds are allocated to support programs that emphasize an early response to emerging mental health needs before they become severe and disabling. All counties with populations greater than 100,000 people must spend at least 51% of allocated PEI funds to serve individuals 25 years old or younger. The primary purpose of innovation projects is to help 1. Improve and increase access to mental health care, 2. Promote interagency and community collaborations, and 3. Increase the quality of mental health services through measurable outcomes. An innovation project may focus on virtually any new mental health approach to help bolster statewide learning. Projects require MHSA approval and are developed through the community planning process. You can follow the Judicial Council link to the MHSA information sheet below for a more in-depth analysis on the innovation approval process. The MHSA information sheet contains an overview of the Act and specifically features innovation projects. Workforce education and training funds are allocated to help develop a diverse workforce. This funding can be used to provide clients, families, and caregivers with the skills training to promote wellness, positive mental health outcomes, deliver client and family-driven services, and conduct outreach to unserved and underserved populations. The Capital Facilities and Technological Needs category applies toward the creation of facilities and infrastructure that is used to improve the delivery of MHSA services to mental health clients and their families. Funds can be used by the county to acquire, develop, or renovate buildings, purchase land in anticipation of acquiring or constructing a building, or modernizing and transforming information systems. Funding. Counties receive approximately $2 billion annually in state support for MHSA programs. The Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission fiscal reporting tool displays information about funding and expenditures by each county. You can follow the MHSOAC link to the fiscal reporting tool. The MHSOAC's fiscal reporting tool provides statewide and county MHSA budget information, including revenue, expenditure, and closing balances as illustrated on the screen and on the next slide. You can select by a county from the drop-down menu, choose a fiscal year. Here we are viewing Alameda County's fiscal year 2016-2017. MHSA Overview in total, with revenue in blue, expenditures in orange, and closing balance in gray. Here we see community services and supports in terms of revenue, expenditure, and closing balance, prevention and early intervention overview, innovations overview, and other MHSA funds. We can also look up revenue information by fiscal year in a pie chart format as shown here. Expenditure information by fiscal year in pie chart format. Closing balance in a pie chart by fiscal year as well. Identifying a mental health gap in the community can help improve the delivery of critical mental health services that courts often facilitate and coordinate for litigants. Mental health impacts local courts in many case types, including family law, dependency, juvenile justice, and adult criminal cases. All projects are developed through the community planning process to meet the needs of each community, especially underserved and unserved groups, including children, transitional age youth, LGBTQ, veterans, parents and caregivers of children, and finally, diverse racial and ethnic communities. Counties use the community planning process to determine how best to improve programs and use MHSA funds. County MHSA websites contain helpful information on the community planning process and also include the county's 3-year plan, annual MHSA revenue and expenditure report, community planning meetings and dates, as well as announcements. Every county has an online MHSA webpage dedicated for information. An easy way to search is by conducting a web search with the desired county name followed by MHSA. Here, I web search Santa Clara MHSA and follow the link. The landing page has several informative links, including County MHSA contact information, Stakeholder Leadership Committee, MHSA updates, and others. I'd like to highlight the NAMI California Community Program Planning Process link. It provides a good overview of the specific steps involved, including a brief description of the community program planning process, the 3-year program plan, mental health board, public hearing, review, and approval process, followed by the Board of Supervisors review, approval, and submission of the plan to the MHSOAC and DHCS. Lastly, additional resources and a timeline of the community program planning process is included. Counties fund more than 2,000 MHSA programs annually. The MHSOAC program search tool allows users to search county MHSA programs by keywords and filters, including fiscal year, county, MHSA component, and target population, as well as view a program profile and compare up to 3 programs side by side. We can explore the tool by following the link provided. Here, I'm going to conduct a quick search and use filters by selecting fiscal year 2019-2020. Under county, choose Calaveras. CSS component and select all full-service partnerships and non-FSPs. Target population. Transitional age youth. I follow the Calaveras ASOC System Development Outreach link, scroll through the program description and additional information. Prior to the COVID pandemic, California was in the grip of a statewide mental health and homeless crisis. The necessity for strengthened partnerships and collaborations between local courts, behavioral health systems, justice partners, and community-based organizations is likely more dire than previously imagined. The MHSA provides a funding source for much-needed mental health services and support to our most vulnerable populations struggling with mental and emotional wellness during an unprecedented time of insecurity. We hope this presentation was helpful and welcome any questions that you may have. Please feel free to reach out to me or via the Collaborative Justice Courts link provided on the screen. Thank you very much for watching this presentation.